Hi everyone, welcome to the Energycast studios in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. We are bringing you the latest environmental management news. First off, your top headlines. The final phase of cleanup at the East Tennessee Technology Park is in sight. DOE, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, and the state of Tennessee signed two major agreements in recent weeks. We're going to explain what they mean for the future of ETTP. The bus tour is back. The American Museum of Science and Energy hosts a beloved tour that takes visitors all across Oak Ridge with stops at many historic sites. The route is changing though, and we've got those new plans ahead. An update to the TRISO X development in Oak Ridge. A major tax credit from the Department of Energy and Internal Revenue Service has been awarded. Climate change and clean energy are at the heart of this work. We're going to let you know how much closer it is to getting started. DOE has selected Candace Robertson to lead its environmental cleanup program. She started June 16th after President Biden nominated Ike White to serve on the Defense Nuclear Facilities Safety Board. White had served as EM's senior advisor for the past 5 years. Now, Robertson brings more than 20 years of experience to the position. She served as the Deputy Assistant Secretary and Associate Deputy Assistant Secretary within EM. She's also served as DOE's Chief Human Capital Officer and the Chief of Staff at the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. In our big story this month, the EPA and state of Tennessee signed the agreements EM needed to begin its final phase of cleanup at the East Tennessee Technology Park. Now, those documents provide direction on how EM will address contaminated groundwater at that site. With all buildings removed and soil cleanup finishing this summer, this is the last step. Sierra Hellemans reports on what's involved in this final phase.
Crews are in the final stages of cleanup at the East Tennessee Technology Park. Demolition is complete, soil cleanup is almost finished. Now, the focus is on groundwater. In the main plant area, teams will use an item you likely have in your kitchen to manage contamination.
The challenge we're facing with groundwater is that we've got contamination released from historical processes here. Metals, chlorinated solvents, sometimes radioactive material was released into the soil through spills or leaks during the operation of the site back decades ago, and now it's in the groundwater and we need to clean it up. Chlorinated solvents is our primary contaminant of concern. It's trichloroethylene, or TCE as we often refer to it, was used for degreasing and cleaning equipment, and it's very mobile and it's made its way into the groundwater. And so we're looking at creative ways, effective ways to clean that up. We'll use bioremediation for the main plant areas, our remedy, and it's where we use microorganisms, the naturally occurring bacteria that biodegrade, or in simple terms, eat the contaminants that turn into non-harmful byproducts and make the water safe. And so we'll start that process of we'll install wells, we'll inject the organisms, nutrients to feed them so they can grow and thrive, and then they'll break this down so this water's safe as well.
The next step will be to let these miniature cleanup crews get to work.
Sierra, thank you. Now, with signatures in hand, that work can actually start. Top leadership members from those organizations have already gotten together in recent weeks to chart new goals to pursue. One of those gatherings was the Environmental Show of the South. It's in Chattanooga. Top leaders from OREM, EPA, TDEC, and UCOR took the stage to share the progress underway and highlight the partnerships that are making it all possible. Our team was there to speak with some of the panelists.
One of the things that is really important here is that we do have a vision for the future that is an economic driver for this area of Tennessee and also for the country. It is, Oak Ridge is a critical piece of our infrastructure in the United States. The Biden-Harris administration is all about improving infrastructure, and we think the cleanup here contributes to that.
Nobody is accomplishing across the board what is happening in Oak Ridge, whether that's getting cleanup done, the brownfield or reindustrialization development that's going on, the support from the community, the engagement with the regulators. You don't see that anywhere else. You can see good engagement, you can see cleanup getting done, but the kind of the whole mill deal that's leading to these other outcomes that I don't think we could have predicted 20 years ago, with nuclear companies locating and building new reactors, getting their license to do that on former DOE property. That's what's leading to those kinds of outcomes that have a very good chance of being successful, and if they do, wow.
Now, all the work listed in those recently signed documents is scheduled to start by 2026. The work at ETTP is now being honored. The EPA just announced the winners of the National Federal Facility Excellence in Site Reuse Award. OREM and UCOR won the Superfund National Priorities List Award for revitalizing this site. The cleanup efforts here took what was once a uranium enrichment operation for 4 decades and turned it into the multi-use industrial park we see today. These awards highlight the accomplishments of agencies committed to restoring and reusing contaminated land at federal facilities. Now, we've got more from that exciting update happening at ETTP over on our YouTube channel. Do be sure to subscribe for more exclusive stories. We've got an update on a historic bus tour in the area. Here's all that info in 1 hot minute. The American Museum of Science and Energy offers a seasonal bus tour across the Oak Ridge Reservation. With some construction happening right now near the graphite reactor, the route had to change a little bit. Instead, visitors will now be making a stop by the Frontier supercomputer at Oak Ridge National Lab. The museum's director tells us this has only boosted excitement for the tour, along with continued hype after the Oppenheimer movie.
People are very interested in the history of this place and what's happening here now. And this bus tour, working with DOE, is a great way for us to show that to them.
Yeah, he says once the reactor is open again, they'd love to find a way to keep both stops. That tour is running right now through the end of the summer. It runs in the mornings and lasts about 4 hours. Head on over to anzi.org to see the full schedule and buy tickets. A reactor removal project in the heart of Oak Ridge National Lab is now complete. Crews tore down the low-intensity test reactor last fall. Now, since then, teams worked on a plan to safely ship the 30-foot-long reactor vessel. Employees successfully loaded the nearly 40,000-pound piece of equipment and shipped it to Utah for permanent disposal. The building's cleared footprint gives crews space to carry out the next 2 major demolition projects at ORNL. Those include tearing down the Oak Ridge Research Reactor and graphite reactor support facilities. Employees from DOE sites across the country came together right here in Oak Ridge for fire protection training. That means live training. The city of Oak Ridge hosted the demonstration at Horizon Center. The goal was to learn how to extinguish lithium battery fires, simulating an electric car fire. The teams started with a single battery cell, then graduated to more than 200 cells. That, by the way, is equivalent to what you would find in a Fiat 500 electric car. Now, with the number of growing electric cars you see on the streets, the concerns for handling a lithium fire have increased. However, the opportunity to simulate these fires is rare. Cleanup contractor UCOR's fire protection manager and Y12's fire chief show us why.
Very, very rarely do we get to do these. We were able to secure, with the help of the National Testing Research Center, the batteries and the location thanks to Y12. And due to the workshop, we were able to make sure everything was coordinated and successfully done.
It's been a topic of concern, what electric vehicle fires are going to do and how they react different. And so we have electric fire blanket that you probably caught on video, us covering it with. Can't use water. They say it takes from 3,000, they've used up to 20,000 gallons of water on a single electric vehicle fire. It's just not effective. You're spraying the shell of the car and never getting to the batteries.
Now, this video that you see right now is one of the fire blankets used to wrap around an electric car to put out the fire. Firefighters from the local area teamed up with engineers to safely observe that simulation. TriSoX is putting some big-time tax credits to use that are helping push its plans forward in Oak Ridge. The Department of Energy and Internal Revenue Service provided the nuclear company nearly $150 million to boost its clean energy mission. The company will construct a $300 million fuel production facility on land DOE transferred to the community to attract new industry. The project is estimated to create 300 permanent jobs and nearly 500 construction jobs. This signifies the largest private investment on federally transferred land in Oak Ridge to date. TriSoX held a ceremonial groundbreaking back in 2022. They do expect to begin operating the new facility in 2027.
Energycast Oak Ridge has been honored with 3 National Hometown Media Awards
Energycast is on the road in Washington, D.C. this month
for government meeting coverage from the National Cleanup Workshop.
How do you plan to ensure that the mission and the work is continually and successfully funded and executed in Oak Ridge?
It's another great question.
Education reporting of the BizTown Learning Experience.
All of this was being held on by like a hair strand of plastic and hope.
And recognized for public health programming on the U-233 project, accelerating cancer research.
A group of scientists and people in industry coming together to cure cancer one day.
We have dedicated ourselves to cleaning up and revitalizing for future generations.
It's all of you who made our work possible. Thank you for letting us share yours.
It is a privilege to bring you EM news from all across the country.
We're proud to say,
next month, we will be back home in Oak Ridge.
That's our hometown.
And remember, if you work in environmental management in Oak Ridge, keep us in mind if you come across a story. We are always looking for news tips and story ideas from across the reservation. We would love to feature what matters to you right here. Email your idea to oakridgeem@orem.doe.gov. And don't forget to follow us on our social media accounts. We post this show on our YouTube channel. Plus, if you liked a topic we covered here, we often have more on it over there. You can also follow EM News on our Facebook, Instagram, and X accounts. Thank you so much for joining us. New episodes come out on the last Wednesday of the month. You can watch on air or online, same places as always. We'll see you next time from the Energycast studio in Oak Ridge.